Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Designer. And today I'm really excited as we have an amazing guest. A lot of you know him by his Insta handle, G-Day Frank. Well, he's famous podcaster, speaker, mentor, Star Wars fanboy with over a decades of experience as a designer. Without further delay, let me introduce you to Frank. Hey, Frank.
G'day, how you doing?
Good, good, Frank. How are you?
Mate, I am doing spectacularly well. I've got everything going on. I'm busy as, but I'm here today for this chat. So thrilled to be here.
Thank you for taking out time for us, Frank.
Pleasure.
So tell us, Frank, like, who are you? What do you do? Where are you joining us from?
All right, I'm Frank. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I'm a graphic designer, but now turned brand identity designer. I've been doing that for the last 3 years. I previously worked in television production, creating identities for big TV shows, both here in Australia and around the world. It came to 2017, 2018. I said to my wife, I want to start my own business. She was like, what are you doing? And I just went and did it. So, 6, 7 months later, I quit my job. The next day, I started G'day Frank, which is my brand identity design business. I help small to medium businesses both here in Australia, abroad as well, even in India, and helping them with not just things like their logos, but their message, their tone of voice, what kind of direction they're heading, things like strategy and brand naming or business naming, and even product and events and all these kind of different things and packaging. It's a bit of a, I feel like I'm a bit of a, what I call a pink unicorn. My color is pink. I don't have my pink nail polish on today, but everything I do is kind of pink. But it's doing a whole wide gamut of different things that I can offer my clients. Even if it was anything like YouTube content like this, or podcasts, or Instagram content, LinkedIn content, that kind of stuff. So that's me in a nutshell.
Great. And Frank, according to you, what is a brand consultant?
All right, so a brand consultant is someone that is there to help a business either identify, maintain, or how would you say, enhance or help a brand get its way out of a sticky situation. I was trying to find an articulated word that summarizes that, but I don't know if it can be. Out of calamity, maybe. So, in terms of establishing an identity, if a business is new and they're looking to, start up their presence in their market, we need obviously things like colors and logos and that kind of thing, but also a good foundational structure of where they're positioned in their market, who they're trying to target, and then creating an identity and a brand and an offering, even pricing, a name, all these different things that come together as a big jigsaw puzzle to create an identity. Then there's maintenance, where we help a brand establish their presence for longevity, because brand isn't just a set and forget type of thing. You need to kind of maintain your presence and you need to be ever present, top of mind. And that could be things like social media content, it could be an update of a website, it could be an event, it could be a new product or service that's being offered, and we want to market that in a certain way, shape, or form. And then in terms of the calamity side of things, this is where something like brand strategy can really come in. So if sales are dropping or people are going elsewhere, or if you're a big brand like Volkswagen and your diesel emissions are totally incorrect and you've lost brand value and reputation out of it, whatever it might be, you need to fix that. And you need to fix that perception to be a positive perception. And that's the real hard task of branding and brand strategy, to claw your way out of that. So for me, that's what a brand consultant can do. Whether or not they execute on certain strategies is another thing. I'm an executor. I don't so much rely on the strategy side of things. I bring someone in to help me with strategy. But it's not to say I can't do a bit of all the things as well. So it really comes down to who you want to work with as a brand consultant that can help you in this space. But that's the kind of gamut, I guess, to give you a quick, broad picture.
Definitely. And according to you, what's the most important skill that a person should have to be a brand consultant?
I think you need empathy. I hear people like Gary Vee say a lot of this, and it's really coming down to not just empathy for someone like the customer, but also for the team that the brand represents, and then also, the brand custodians, the owners of the business, who are typically the ones that are coming to me and saying, Frank, can you help me out here with our brand? We need to either start it, maintain it, or get ourselves out of a jam. And for all of those three different levels of people, it's trying to empathize with why they want this, or why they need this, or what's going to solve, how we're going to solve it, and make sure everyone's happy. It's a hard thing to do. I think inherently as creatives, we're people pleasers. We want the world to be a better place, better look, a little bit nicer, sound a little bit nicer, smell, taste, whatever. Uh, but I think if you can have that empathy for others and not just be in it for sales, then I think that can definitely be an admirable quality of a branding consultant.
So when you say empathy, right, is there
Mm.
is there a design process that you follow, and is it same for all brands, or like you mix and match and you tweak it
Yeah,
a little bit?
I'd say there's a broad process, but to me, when I do brand identity design, it's a pretty linear process where I'm either identifying that the brand or the business needs all the things or just segmented bits. So, what I mean by that is that if I am helping a brand develop a refreshed or a new identity, is that we're doing a workshop together to really understand their market. So, who they're trying to target, what position they are in based on what they offer, who their customers are, and who's their competition. So we can make sure we understand that. And that's where empathy can really come in. But then from the persona side of things, you can really understand the need or the benefit or the features that that person is looking for, or not just a person, but a collective. Like if you are a B2B business, it's a little bit different to a
Mm.
B2C or a person to kind of person type of business. And it really can challenge you as a consultant to change that tact, because not all businesses need all things and not all people need all things. So you can't sometimes be for everyone, and you can only be for someone, or you can try and be for everyone, which is again really hard to do that at an empathetic level of just loving everybody. But in terms of, I guess, a linear process for me, at least, it's doing that workshop, understanding the problem, understanding the situation, and then devising an idea of, okay, this is the direction I think we could take. Do you think it would be suitable for your market, for your customers, for your clients, for whoever it is you're trying to engage with? And then we develop a personality around that. Someone
Mm.
that a consumer can connect with. So looking at a brand as if it's a person, how we look, how we sound, how we feel, the vibe that we get when we're in the room with that person, what is that going to be? And that can be things like a value set of values, or it could be a certain purpose beyond making money. It could be a tone of voice, in terms of
Yeah.
messaging, and certain things that people like, even like catchphrases of certain things you might find yourself saying over and over. Like for me, it's saying "g'day, mate." Like when I say hello to anybody, I don't say hello or hi. It's usually "g'day." Those kind of things form part of that identity, and then that can help influence the visual side of things. So if a visual identity, so logos and colors and
Mm.
all the different other imagery based things is required, then all of the things that have come before it can help influence that final result. So everything should make sense. But what I'm finding throughout that whole process is trying to find one little thing that can carry across everything. One thing that the
Yeah.
brand can be remembered for or perceived for. And it's kind of like when you, in Western culture, you think, actually, no, more broadly, probably everyone will understand this one. If you need fast food, where do you go to? In most places, it's now McDonald's is the first kind of
Yeah.
brand you think of. It's that kind of idea of fast food is associated with McDonald's. Like Kleenex is with facial tissues,
True.
in Western countries. That was an example I was going to give. I'm not too sure if Kleenex exists in India or not. But in terms of that, it's just an overarching theme that can go throughout it, and you can position you either subconsciously or very front and center so everyone gets it. Um, but brands like Nike have it. It's this mentality of doing something, getting out there and actionably doing something, and that transcends into everything that you see. Their tagline, "Just do it." Their tick, "I've just done it." All these kind of things. So It's very different for every business, or even person. If you want to create a personal brand, it can be very different, and you lean into your own sensibility or you amplify your own personality. Um, so yeah, it's not a copy paste. Put it that way.
Yeah,
It doesn't work that way.
definitely. And Frank, now today, like there's so many new technologies which are coming. There are people who are exploring AR, VR for branding, and I've
Mm.
seen a lot of like even Snapchat filters, Instagram filters. So how do you keep yourself updated? What, like how do you imagine like when a brand comes to you, like then you think that okay, I'll do these things for them.
Yeah, I'm interested that you brought that up just because I was thinking to myself, in the last response I gave you there was everything that I just discussed is keeping me in a job because it's something I don't think a computer can do. It's an emotional connection that we're going to have, and that's why I call branding the process of creating captivating moments of connection from clarity. The clarity part is understanding the problem. Captivating is getting your attention, and then creating uh, connections. There is that human part, which I don't think AI is going to get. But to your question now of how do I keep up with that so I can stay in a job in a job, I guess, without AI taking over, but using some technology to enhance it, is leaning into what's kind of the time. So I had a potential client come to me and they were looking to do a certain kind of consumer product and wanted to get into the NFT blockchain kind of space, target
Yeah,
those people who are just ever present at the moment online, and how we could make that connection to captivate the attention and make a connection between that audience and this product, which isn't an NFT, it's a physical product that you consume, and to be able to make that association so that when they think of that product, they think of this, or when they celebrate, an NFT win, they buy this thing, that kind of thing. So it's seeing how you can associate yourself with technology if it makes sense. If it doesn't, that's okay. Whereas other technologies can be helpful to market your business, to get it to the consumer that you want it to. So, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all those platforms, YouTube, are a way to get that voice, that personality out there and connect with people. If you do it and you use it as it should be, have always used as social media, not advertising media. It's social media to connect on a human level. That can help enhance your brand. That can help give your brand a voice, a personality, something to engage with, especially if you put a face to it or
yeah,
faces to it. And I think this is why when you see brands that have ambassadors, that's that connection point. You associate that person with that brand, or that brand with that person, or whatever it is, to create that trust. And if you, as a brand owner, as a business owner, and you do that, that can help establish that connection much better because we can read faces. We can, you know, take on face value what you think of the person. You might think of me as a real cool guy. I don't know. I don't want to say that because I'm a total dork, and just a silly dad of two kids. So for me, it really comes down to what that perception is, and using technology in a way to enhance that connection point. Where it goes in the future in terms of brands, who knows? But I think you can't be a laggard and stay behind. You kind of got to step like one little toe into the pond and just go, oh, that's what that feels like, kind of thing, and just see if and taste and see if it works for your brand or not.
yeah. I agree. I think yes. The emotional connect is very important
Mm.
for anyone to relate to a brand, and that's why like influencers are there, right? A lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
cool. So Frank, any do's or don'ts for a designer, or any tips for upcoming designers?
Yeah, I'd say keep everything as simple as possible. I'm learning this the more I do what I do, is that the more complex you make something initially, the less you'll use it, or the harder it becomes to utilize and maintain and be consistent. So, what I mean by that, pick one color that isn't the same as a real rival competitor, at least something that you can be proud to wear every day. I wear pink. I even paint my fingernails sometimes, and I really lean into that to be remembered for something, so that way when someone sees that color and has a good connection with you, In certain contexts, they're going to associate that with you and think of you, and then you remain top of mind. Because color is one of those things that we first recognize over text, over image, all the rest of it. The second is if you create a logo that you want to represent yourself, again, make that as simple as being able to sketch it from memory. If you can't draw it in the sand or with a pencil on a bit of paper or on a napkin or whatever, and someone can't recognize it after seeing it a couple of times and know that that's what it is, or your users have seen it and seen it and seen it and they can't draw it from memory, then you've got a problem. It possibly is too complex. So I'm creating very minimal shapes and symbols that doesn't need to say what your business is or does or anything like that. Apple doesn't sell apples. It's a concept, it's a name, it works. Nike is a swoosh, it's a tick. It could be anything, but it's what you do with it that counts. And if the simpler it is, it makes it easier to put across everything at bigger sizes like the McDonald's arches, or really small like a favicon on your website in the little browser tab. All these considerations. And then the other part is putting a face to the name of the business that you wanting to create a brand. It could be the owners. You see Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, step on stage to introduce his products because he is proud of them. Or you put a mascot to it to represent your business, like McDonald's Ronald McDonald, or the KFC's Colonel, even though he was the founder of KFC, he's no longer here. But all these faces that we connect better with than just a logo and be a faceless brand, I think will put you in better stead. And if you're going to use imagery at all in your things, try and make it your own imagery if you can, rather than using stock imagery. That would be my 3 or 4 little nuggets in there to make things just as simple as possible. Because if you do that, you can maintain consistency pretty easy so that anyone, be it the CEO or the person on your reception, can work with it. And the same goes for the internal parts of, if it's values, for brand values, stick with 3. Any more than 3, you forget them. I used to work in a workplace in TV land. They had 4. They had them on every coffee mug, so I drank out of it every day. I can't remember for the life of me the 4th one. So keep those things simple. Keep that idea that I talked about, to a theme throughout your business. Keep that simple, and so everyone knows why they're there and why they're showing up. And if you just keep the idea of simplicity across a board of everything, you'll nail it. Hopefully.
Cool. And my last $1 million question: why Good Day Frank, and what's the logic behind the pink color?
Okay, so G'day Frank. Frank isn't my first name. Reagan is my first name. Frank is my middle name. It's after both my grandfathers. So from my mum's side and my dad's side, their father is named Frank. And I picked it because for me, Reagan is not easily pronounced, remembered, and spelt. I've got all kinds of different spelling and pronunciations of it. I get a lot of Regans, which kind of grinds my gears a little bit, just after 33 years of being called Regan here and there. So I chose Frank just from the same aspect of what I said before of keeping it simple, so it's easily remembered and recognized. So if anyone can write Frank pretty easily, especially in the Western side of things, Frank, 5 letters, too easy. The G'day part of it is a salutation. So instead of G-Day, like you introduced me, that's okay. It's G'day, and G'day is short for have a good day or good day to you. And it's an Australian way of greeting somebody. So when I walk past someone, I say, G'day, mate, that kind of thing. And for me to work that into the name as a salutation, to say G'day, Frank, I have my clients now emailing saying the first part, instead of hi Frank, it's G'day Frank. And I'm like, right there, it's really easy peasy. Or if I answer the phone, I can say G'day Frank speaking, and right there I've already said my business name. So it's worked pretty well. How I came up with it, I was sitting in my old office space, my old job before I started the business, going, what could I call it? I was just going to call it Frank, but there is another few brands in Australia called Frank, and I was like, I can't make this mine, and thought, okay, let's add this, G'day Frank, and see how that goes. And it eventuated. The pink is, hold on, my business card. So the pink color, it originally was was blue and pink, like a navy blue and pink. And the reason for that was just really simple: boys and girls, gender
Uh,
neutral kind of thing, a bit of combination in the two of them. So I wasn't off putting any potential clients that were female based businesses or male based businesses. It might be a bit of a, I don't know, sticking point. Some men don't like pink. That's okay. But for this, I found those two colors quite vibrant and caught your eye, and they contrasted quite a bit. Though I found that they competed too much when I put my stuff out there. That I was like, I just really like the pink. It's different to others that are out there. I've since found other blokes that do branding that have leaned into pink as well, which is good. But for me, I've just tried to own it in as much as I can, to put it on a business card, to put it on a mouse mat, to put it on my fingernails, on my shirts. I even asked my wife if she'd pierce my ear and put an earring in it because she makes earrings. She said no. Um, all these different things that if you show up consistently like I do with my face, with the logo shape, it's just a GF in a circle, simple as that. Um, it helps create something that people can instantly recognize. So when they scroll down the feed of Instagram or LinkedIn, where I show up the most, you should recognize it instantly. So that's the inception story.
Great, great, great. Frank, we are done. Thanks a lot for joining us and taking out time. It was amazing.
Cheers. Yeah,
Yeah.
pleasure.
Good, Frank.
There you go.